Hi, it's Florian, and in this video I'm going to talk about how to deal with stress and emotions in your work life, especially if you're an engineer. I'm going to talk about the things that I learned over the last years, about the stuff that I'm doing, and maybe it helps if you have anxiety or fear or aggression or stress in your life. So stay tuned, and I will give you some advice. And the first advice I can give you is what you need to do, especially as an engineer, is understand where stress comes from, where anxiety comes from, where aggression comes from, also where trust comes from. All of these things work in your body. There's some mechanism behind all of that. And this mechanism is, of course, sourced in your brain, in your hormones, in the stuff that works in your body. So different brain regions like the prefrontal cortex, like the amygdala, like the limbic system, all of these things are connected in some kind of way. And there are hormones that are also part of it, like dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, whatever. So all of these things do things in your body. They control your behavior. They are triggered by external factors. And if you understand how that works, you understand yourself and others better. And that really will drive you forward. That will reduce your anxiety. That will reduce your aggression. It will make you control yourself and others much better. And there's a lot of literature, a lot of videos on YouTube you can watch. There's a very good lecture, for example, from Stanford about behavioral biology that you can watch. A lot of things that can open your eyes whenever you have something that you don't understand, or if you just feel angry. It's very important to know why. And if it's even worse and you feel that you are burning out, that you maybe go into a depression, it's important to understand what that is so you can get help or help yourself much easier. So first thing, learn about yourself. It's like engineering. It is not much different. People work like machines. They have stuff that's in them and that does something with them, and it's not different from one to another. So very important to learn. A second thing that I often see in people, especially when they are young, is that they have a problem dealing with projects that don't work as they think they should. And that has a few backgrounds. So if you feel you're failing at your work, you feel that you're failing at the task you have, that's normal. That's the first thing you need to learn. It is normal. Usually nothing goes as planned. It's very random what happens sometimes. A prototype might work or might not work. There might be a bug or not. There might be an issue at the supplier or not. So you never know what the future brings, and that is normal. And especially at the start of their career, people don't know that, and they get really anxious about it. So what you should do is actually, first of all, be faithful. Everything works out in the end. There's nothing that will kill you, or you won't get fired immediately if something just gets delayed by a week. That's not what's going to happen. And you should just be open about your issues. So ask for help with your colleagues. Be transparent to your boss. So if something is wrong, if you see there's something not working, what should be working, maybe if you feel responsible for it, be open about the issue. Be open about the issue, maybe propose a solution. Maybe the solution could also be that you need help. That is all good, but never close it. Never be closed about it. Be very open and very frank of what the issue is. And in the end it will work out, because usually the whole team is interested in making that work. What you should not do is join a blame game. That sometimes happens if things go wrong, if projects struggle, whatever. Never join the blame game. I know that people do that quite occasionally, from not only engineers, everyone does, but it's a bad idea. You never win the blame game. No one wins. Everyone loses. Everyone is angry in the end. You smash some stuff that you can't repair in the end anymore. That's very bad. Don't join it. Always be constructive, even if something goes wrong, and propose solutions, and don't only show the problems. That usually helps, and staying calm always helps. So not being afraid of something or angry always helps you. It will always make you better in the job of an engineer, because you need to keep a clear head. And that's what I can say if you have a project that doesn't work so well. Another thing that could happen is that actually the economy is crashing, or your company is crashing, and there are layoffs. And that's something that also causes a lot of anxiety in people usually. So what do you do about this kind of anxiety? Because that's also normal. That will most likely happen in your career, that you get fired once or twice, that the company just lets people go. That is not something that is really special, or that happens very rarely. It happens quite often. So what do you do if you are afraid of this? First of all, always have a plan B. That's something I can always recommend. Whatever you do, you can never be, and however good you think you are at it, you can never be sure that you keep the job in the end. So you should have a plan B. You should know, if I lose my job tomorrow, that's what I'm going to do in 2 days from now. You should know that. And if you are always clear about it, even if you feel safe, you know, what do I do if I lose my job, you will take these situations much easier. And of course, it makes it even more easy to take for you if you have some financial buffer. So if you are not in debt too much, or maybe even not in debt at all, you should have some savings. You shouldn't spend everything you earn. You should try to build some wealth so that you can live from it when you lose a job and maybe your plan B doesn't work out. So the more security you have in your background, the easier it is to deal with these kind of situations. And that is very important to understand, that building wealth and having a plan B makes everything much easier. And if you are an engineer for a few years, maybe for 10 years, 20 years, you usually have saved enough that you don't care too much if you lose your job. If you didn't, then you usually spent too much during the last 10 or 20 years. So be very careful about spending, and be very clear about what your plan B is, and that helps you whenever the economy goes down. The next point that also brings a lot of frustration to people, maybe anxiety or even aggression, is if you deal with an aggressive other. So if you deal with an aggressive boss or an aggressive customer or some angry customer, that usually is something you need to also learn how to do that. You can learn that. It's not so hard. What you should do is first of all, let them talk. You shouldn't defend yourself, so don't be defensive. Don't argue with them. Just listen and agree. Even if you think it's not fair what they say, just agree. First of all, you cannot argue with someone who's angry, but what you can do is ask for a second meeting. You should always ask whenever you feel that this one is not someone I can get to currently. Ask for a second meeting and prepare for the second meeting. So try to get your feelings down, and then think about what the solution could be. Think about what is the problem of the other one. What do they want me to solve? What could the solution be? And then propose the solution. And if they agree with the solution, and if they see, yeah, okay, that's something I could do, and maybe if this was your boss, maybe not the customer, but if it was your boss, be open about that you didn't like him reacting like that. So because then he won't do it next time. He will be, because he knows that you will solve the problem in the end, he won't be so angry. He will trust you more. So be open about your feelings, but not too much when the other one is angry. That's something that might help you in this situation. The last point that I want to discuss quite briefly is what brings you to become an engineering manager. Why do you need all of that? So whenever you have responsibility about other people, all of that is very important to know, and all of that is very important to have experienced in your past. So you should not just become an engineering manager from the university. So you should have some time where you can learn all of these things, and where you really actively learn them. You should not be so confident of yourself when you start working. You should be very humble and learn not only the technical stuff, because that's something that is usually not the hard part. The hard part is the personal stuff. The hard part is the tactics and strategy when it comes to dealing with people, and that is something that as an engineering manager you should really learn, and you should have learned. And it's also very important to know that, and you usually grow over time. It's not something you can do from a start. There are people who are better at that, and there are people who are worse, and those who are worse usually don't become engineering managers, but you can train for it. So it's something you can really train. You can train your anxiety, you can train your aggression, you can train understanding others, you can train all of that. It's a bit psychology that you have to learn, but it's really worth it. Not only for an engineering manager, but also for others. And of course, what you should always do is stay healthy. So eat healthy, work out a bit. Don't just eat, go to work, go home, eat, watch TV, go to work. So that's not something you should do. Have something in your life, have something that brings you joy, work out, have a family, have your life in order, and that usually helps you also in your job, and of course as a manager. So I hope you learned something. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and have a good day. Goodbye.